All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Marketing Stream. My name is Jason Pantana. I am thrilled to be with you today for another installment, broadcast, whatever word you want to give to it, of Marketing Stream. If you're watching and this is your first time, I do this pretty much every week or every other week. It kind of varies. Pretty much every other week, I think, is kind of the current cadence of this. But basically, it's a Q&A show. So if you have questions about marketing or topics you want me to kind of research and dig into, this is all that is. So if you're watching right now, put a comment. If it's on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching, just drop a comment. Let me know who's on. I got Latanya. What's going on, Latanya? Watching on YouTube. I got Howard watching on YouTube. Glad to see everybody here. Just leave a comment. And if you would, do me a tremendous favor. It's so algorithmically speaking, here's a lesson in this. Tag a friend that you think should be watching. We're going to talk today about, what are we talking about? We're going to talk about where to place lifestyle property tour videos, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We're going to talk about the new Instagram algorithm or some changes to that algorithm. We're going to talk about just some basic practices of how to get social media actually implemented in my business. We're going to talk about Facebook Messenger chatbots versus Facebook lead forms. We're going to talk about ads on Facebook and Instagram that are geared toward expired listings. So just, if you would, in the comments, tag a friend that you're like, hey, watch this now. This is for you. What else have I got? Google Ads. What are some Google Ads that I should be running right now as an agent? And there's a couple of others in there. So we got a lot to get into. I got to tell you, I love this show because the format is on my Instagram, which if you can see the ticker tape across the bottom, if you're not connected with me on Instagram, Facebook, if you haven't subscribed on YouTube or whatever the channel is, LinkedIn, Twitter, please do connect. On Instagram, I typically post either a day or two in advance of doing one of these marketing streams. I post a story sticker. And it's one of those ask me anything stories on Instagram. So if you have a question, just drop that there. And that's how I sort of preload these questions. By all means, if you have a question and you're watching live, put it in the comments and I will do my best to, by the end of the show today, I'll do my best to answer your question or at least give my 10 cents on whatever the topic is. I've never been a stranger of giving my opinion. So drop that in. And if you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe and hit the little bell next to my channel. That way you get alerts whenever I go live and you can be just alerted if I'm going live. That way, if there's a question, you want to drop it in, I'm live. So you have the opportunity just to do that right there. The opportunity, I don't mean it like that, but I want to help as many people as I can. What's going on, Megan? What's going on, Michael? Howard's tagging away. I appreciate that. Howard, I see your comment about Facebook has changed their ads manager. Any insights or comments? Can you be more specific so that when I can get to that at the end, I can sort of screen share and we can talk about that together? I got Steven going on. Love this. Drop your questions in, guys. That's perfect. And I'm going to go through the questions I already got first in advance. But again, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever you're watching, tag a friend. Let me know how I can help. Let me know what your question is. And with that being said, let's now get the show rolling. First question up is right here on the screen. Thank you, Stephen, for tagging Timothy and Rhonda. Appreciate that, man, very much. All right, so first question up is, where's the best place to go to begin learning how to best incorporate social media into my business? So I, as always, wrote out my answers here. And as always, I will post the text version of my answers. I'll go back through at the end of the video once the replay gets published on YouTube and Facebook. I'll go ahead and go add timestamps, and I'll add my notes in the description, the caption, so that you have that for easy access. First thing I said is, and I appreciate the question, my journey out. First thing I would say is watch this show. I started realizing this is the 14th episode, and what I do is after I record these questions, I timestamp every single one of them. So like if you go onto my YouTube, and let me share my screen real quick, and I'll just pull that up so I can show you how to do it. Here we go. If you go onto my YouTube, like so, your channel, and I can just go to some of these videos right here. You can just dig into one of these. Like this is 2 weeks ago or a week ago we did this one. And if you look at the description, I timestamp every question. So I would recommend going through, like if you click it, it goes straight to it. So just kind of go through those chapters and see if anything sort of is useful to you. That's one thing. So like, in other words, my answer is keep watching the show. I try my best to produce content that's useful in terms of marketing advice and whatnot. But there are tons of experts I listen to that I would highly encourage you to spend time listening to also. That includes Tom Ferry, who I work for. I think the Tom Ferry Show and the podcast experience, there's unbelievable content there. And more than just listening to what Tom says, it's also watching what he does. If you watch Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever the platform, Twitter, Tom's doing an incredible job across those platforms. I also wrote down, I would look at Gary Vee, Jasmine Star, Amy Porterfield, Jay Baer, B-A-E-R, Noah Kagan. Those are just some names I wrote down. Again, I'll add them in the show notes when we're done here today. But I would say the first thing to implementing social is just kind of make it a ritual to continually learn more about how to leverage social media as a marketing channel. I wasn't sure how to interpret your question. Another way I could have taken this question was basically to say like, hey, where should I start? And I also wrote down a part B to my answer, which is content. You're not producing enough content. I'm not producing enough content. I just got off a coaching session with one of my rockstar clients, and we were both laughing because we talked about how much time we put into creating content on social media. And we were like, I've never read that one of yours, and you've never read that one of mine. And it's just, at the end of the day, people are busy. They're living hurried lifestyles right now. They're busy, and you're not producing enough content because when people do see what you post, they may or may not have the time to really fully invest in it. So my advice here is just start making content, images, videos, graphics, tweets, all kinds of stuff. Start making more content. And I think through an effort of trial and error, you're going to learn a lot about what works. So I know the question is, where do I begin? And the answer is, start a weekly video show, or just do one thing consistently every week. One piece of content, and then a second piece of content, and then a third piece of content, week over week, until you get yourself into a social media marketing machine, producing lots of valuable content, and all along the way, learning what works, learning what doesn't work. Because I got to tell you, like, trial and error for me and for anybody who's working out in the world of social media has been a powerful learning tool. Okay. Third thing I wrote down is make sure you head over. I'll put the full link, the deep link, in my description. But if you go to tomferry.com, Tomferry, on the banner, you should see campaigns and ads for an event called Accelerate. Really, Accelerate is an umbrella of events. This fall, Tom Ferry, we're putting out like 7 different 3-hour trainings. And the first training I host, it's called Digital Domination. It's under the umbrella of Accelerate Events. Go to tomferry.com. It's a 3-hour training straight up talking about social media. And the deliverable, the promise at that event is you will leave with a spelled out content calendar. So I get the question, how do I start incorporating social media? To me, the answer is content. If you're not sure of where to begin with content and you know you want to produce your own content, you don't want to just pay some service to do some cheap version of content for you. You want to really be invested in it, which I think you should be. Join us for Digital Domination, October 7th. Go to tomferry.com. All right, so let me just peek over here at the chat. There's a lot of comments coming in. Thank you guys for tagging folks. Steve, I see your question there on LinkedIn. What is the platform you're using to go live on? I'll answer this one real quick, Steve. This one's really easy, and I'm super glad you're watching right now on LinkedIn. I'm using a software called StreamYard. StreamYard allows me to go live. It's a web-based live streaming service. It costs like, I think, $25 a month, something like that. It's not unaffordable. You can screen share and you can do all kinds of fun things like that. I can broadcast on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube at the same time. I'm broadcasting on LinkedIn. You have to apply to be approved to live stream on LinkedIn. And it took me like 2 months to get the approval back. So I had to fill out a whole application, talk about what I was going to do. And then they were like, okay, we give you the green light. And so now I use StreamYard to live stream into LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube all at the same time. So I hope that answers that one there for you, Steve. Great question, man. What's going on, Sia? Are all these digital domination stuff available in Loom? It will be available to all of our coaching clients after the event happens. It hasn't happened yet. It happens on October 7th. So Sia, I would go into Loom, which is, by the way, anybody watching, Loom is our software that we provide, sort of a back-end access for our coaching members under the Tom Ferry coaching program. I would go there and see what is offered, but it's not going to be there yet because the event hasn't happened yet. All right, let's get back to the questions. All right, so that was the first one. Here comes the second one. Hank Cassie, my buddy, one of our coaches, great question. What should be done to maximize the new Instagram algorithm? So a lot of people have been talking about Instagram's made some changes in 2020. More specifically, there's been a lot of people talking about changes in the past month or two. And a lot of people are reporting my engagement tanked or whatever it is. And just knock on wood, I haven't seen engagement tanking on my end. I've talked to people who have seen differences, but I wrote down a lot of notes. So first of all, there's been a ton of updates, Hank, to the Instagram algorithm. And by the way, I'd love to know in the comments, like, what are you guys seeing? Have you in the last month or two seen a reduction in engagement, or your reach has been sort of tanked on Instagram? I'd love to see what y'all are saying to that. I haven't personally seen much. I've talked to a bunch of people. Some have, some haven't. I think I know why, but I just want to get the commentary from everybody watching right now. Here's the first thing I wrote down. I'm just going to read my notes. Many of the updates center around censorship. So I don't know if you've seen this. I sometimes see, like, I'm scrolling in my feed and it says sensitive social content or sensitive content or something like that. And it could be violence or anything along those lines. So we're seeing a lot more censorship on the part of Instagram right now, which Instagram's owned by Facebook. Sensitive content. They're definitely doing a lot against hatred and harassment. They've closed a lot of accounts. They're trying really hard to stop the bullying and those kinds of things. And then also they're going after low quality health and financial advice. That's based upon my research. So like if they suspect you're offering low quality health advice or low quality financial advice, they're going after a lot of that stuff. So censorship is a big piece of how it's not really how the algorithms changed. It's how Instagram's changing, is censorship. Also, they're taking steps to remove clickbait out of their platform. So giveaways, contests, I may take a break from those for the time being, Hank. And I know in our ecosystem, we talk a lot about giveaways and stuff. And I know a lot of our clients are still doing them. They're compliant in how they're doing them. After reading what I read this morning, I'm slightly nervous that there could be a point at which the giveaways or contest could be considered clickbait. Hey, if you like this post or tag these friends, you could win this or that. End of day, they want better quality engagement, not cheap shots. I'm not saying giveaways are cheap shots. I've taught them for a long time. But I did make this note, Hank, that I may take some time off giveaways for a little bit, just until I see somebody else do it and, either have success or not have success. Also, this always stands, don't buy followers or likes. They're continuing to hate that at Instagram more and more. And I know people do it all the time. They're like, I want to get my 10,000 followers or whatever. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. There are companies that say, well, we don't use bots or whatever. We use real stuff. Don't buy it. Earn it. Earn it by creating really great content. I don't think I have a ton of followers. I just crossed over 10,000 finally. I've never bought a follower. I know plenty of people who have way more followers than me. It was hard work to get to where I got on it. I'm going to keep going. But don't buy the followers, period. I also wrote down that Instagram is testing some new screen layouts. So you may or may not have seen these, Hank. But Instagram's been testing a lot of different varieties. What they're trying to do is basically on the home screen, like currently on the home screen, you've got the home feed, the explore feed, the little plus in the bottom footer center where you can add a new post or whatever. And then you've got the heart icon for your notifications, and then your profile icon on the lower right. Clearly, I spend too much time. You've got your DMs on the top left. What they're testing is they want to be able to add a shopping tab, and they want to add the Reels tab on the home feed, on the home screens. So they're testing with where does that go? Some things go on the top, some things go on the bottom. They're moving things around. So they're basically all the algorithmic changes, I would say, stem from shopping and Reels. If you want to do better on Instagram, and I'm talking to myself right now, you need to make Reels part of your content mix. And I know it's like, oh, it's another form of content. I know a lot of people have been avoiding getting on TikTok because TikTok's like, it's a whole new type of content. It's, theirs was 60 seconds, but there are these different types of videos with music, and sometimes they're funny and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, well, I'm already creating videos, but they're widescreen, not vertical. Stories is one thing, but stories don't require as much effort in terms of forethought into my content. But Reels is forcing your hand to produce a new type of content. And I'm telling you, the time is now. And in fact, if you start getting the early adopter, if you become one of the first mover advantage folks who start using Reels, it's probably going to help boost your engagement overall. So everything I read, everything I researched just said, start using Reels. If you're in e-commerce and watching this, start selling your products there. I'm looking at Howard. Howard's got to sign off due to time zones. You can watch the replay, Howard. No worries, man. Thank you, Megan, on the congrats for the 10,000. So moral of the story so far, Hank, is maybe lay off giveaways. Don't buy followers or likes. Start adopting Reels. Keep doing lots of stories. That helps too. And then the last piece is if you're e-commerce, do shopping inside of Instagram because they care about those things. A lot of people said that this was really about, some of the changes are really about what Facebook did years ago when they basically flatlined business pages engagement because they wanted to sell their ads. I don't know that that's true because at the end of the day, the Instagram algorithm as well as the Facebook algorithm right now it's a learning machine. That's not a learning machine, machine learning algorithm, meaning basically it's unique to each individual user. So it's not that if I produce more videos, I'll get more engagement. It's dependent upon who follows me. If my followers historically like videos, then I'm standing a better chance of them seeing my content. If my follower base historically likes photos, then I got to give them that stuff. My best advice is mix it up. Don't do all videos. Don't do all photos. Don't do all graphics cards. Mix it up, right? Rotate it. And that's going to help you across a lot of fronts. One, let's assume a variance in terms of your users. Some users may see your videos because algorithmically they're going to be biased to see videos based upon what they've liked historically. Some users may see your photos because once again, algorithmically, they're going to be biased to see those photos. Mix it up with graphics cards, which like basically designs, memes, illustrations, things like that. With videos, with posts that are just photos or whatever, mix it up. And that also helps you on the explore feed. Because the thing is, like, even if you knew, like the back of your hand, even if you knew that your follower base loves videos, for instance, you don't know what's going to work inside of the explore feed. I did a post here recently where it was a gallery. In fact, I can share my screen and show it to you real quick. Share screen, Instagram. That is not how you spell Instagram. Instagram. That's how you spell Instagram. Let's go to my feed. Here it comes. I did this post here recently. 5 Facebook ad scripts for real estate agents. And I can scroll through like this and you can just see different scripts. And I gave a whole bunch of steps and tutorials right here. And it did really well. Like it did well. 218 likes is good. You can't see it on desktop. If I was on my phone, I could tell you the stats. This sucker did so well inside the explore feed. It did well in my home feed, right? It did well with my followers. But in the explore feed, it just took off. And what happened because of that is I gained well over 100 followers on that one post because it showed itself to a new audience. What that tells me is algorithmically, I don't produce content like that on a regular basis. And that kind of content for somebody like me works really well for folks. So I hope I'm making sense, Hank. End of day, post more stories, mix up your media. So photos, videos, graphics cards, mix it up. Start using Reels. If you're doing e-commerce, do shopping. Don't buy followers. Don't buy hearts and likes. Don't do any of that stuff. Don't be clickbaity. And don't do anything that's going to get censored. and you're going to be fine on the Instagram algorithm changes. Okay, sip of water. Let's go to question number 3. You guys having a good day, by the way? How's y'all's day? Everybody having fun today? Leave it a comment. Let me know how it's going for you. Or evening, depending upon your part of the world. Facebook Messenger bots for lead capture. You guys ask great questions. Brant, I love this question. You guys ask like great questions. By the way, if you're on Facebook, help us along. Give us a heart, give us a like if you're enjoying the content. That helps their algorithm know, oh, people like this content. Show it to more people. I would be very grateful for that. And same difference, the thumbs up on YouTube I'd be very grateful, and on LinkedIn would be super. Okay, Facebook Messenger bots for lead capture. How does it compare to Facebook lead forms? First and foremost, let's talk about what's a bot, what's a lead form. So a Facebook Messenger bot, probably gonna need to do a bit of screen share for this. I wasn't really prepared for that, but I'm thinking it's gonna be necessary. So Mobile Monkey is a popular bot company. I pulled them up, maybe have some good screenshots. I got no endorsements, but they're popular. No, I don't want your notifications. So they do it. Let's do Chat Fuel. They're popular. And we've got Mini Chat is popular. So these are 3. So we got Mobile Monkey, Chat Fuel, and Mini Chat. They're all 3 popular bots. What they do, and you can kind of see here in this little illustration, let me accept their cookies. You can kind of see how there's this automated messenger conversation going on. So what happens is you do an ad on Facebook, and it's got the send message button or something like that on Facebook. Make sure you guys can see me. You can see me. It's got the send message button on Facebook or something like that. They click send message, and then it somehow triggers your bot to get activated. So what happens is Mini Chat or Chat Fuel or Mobile Monkey, they integrate with your Facebook account, and they have triggers whereby if somebody says a certain thing or responds in a certain way, you can decide what it is that turns the bot on. But then all of a sudden they respond to your call to action in your ad, and then you hear a ba-bing, and suddenly you have this messenger conversation. Basically, it's a pre-scripted conversation. You can draft out a whole Facebook Messenger like asking questions, and you can give them prompts whereby they can say, it's called a quick reply. So you can basically say, they can say this or that. So I don't know if you know this, like SMS, which is text messaging, stands for short message service. SMS, short message service. You might have heard of MMS, which is multimedia messaging or something like that. The difference is like Facebook is a multimedia messaging service. That means I can put all kinds of different prompts. I can do calls to action, buttons, quick replies, links, photos, videos, GIFs, whatever. Inside of a thread, it's not just straight up text messaging, if you will, in Messenger. So what you can do in Mobile Monkey, Chat Fuel, or Mini Chat is build out a pre-scripted dialogue. Basically, like you're asking a series of questions and they can answer, and then based upon how they answer, conditional responses can prompt different questions. And so it's basically like getting someone to fill out a really long form. The downside of the bots is they take a lot of time and tech to set up. Now, Chat Fuel, Mini Chat, Mobile Monkey, I think they make it pretty easy. Truly, I think they make it pretty easy. But at the same time, it's more difficult than a lead form. There's a lot of stats. Neil Patel posted some stuff, like the click-through rates are really good. So to answer your question, Facebook Messenger bots for lead capture, I'm a 2 thumbs up. I mean, they work. I did notice in the Facebook Ads Manager, you know how Facebook will like roll something out and then take it away because they're kind of beta testing, is this a good feature or not, and then they take it away. When I was running ads in Facebook for a period of time, there was an option for lead forms where I could do an automated chat instead of a lead form, and then it went away. So I'm kind of waiting for it to come back. I was actually going to do a training on it, and then just as soon as I was going to do the training on it, it went away. So anyways, I'm a yes when it comes to the bots, and I think some of the advantages are obvious. Like if I do a lead form, and what's a lead form? A lead form is I click the call to action button on a Facebook ad, and then a form pops up and it auto-populates information. My name, my email, my phone number, and it typically auto-populates based upon info that Facebook already has about me. However, in a lead form, you can ask more questions. You can do customized questions, multiple choice, you can do conditional questions, and you can basically build out what's like a Google form or a SurveyMonkey form, a very elaborate intake form through a lead form inside of the Facebook Ads Manager, which is awesome. But here's the downside. The downside is if your form is too daunting for somebody, they may just say, too rich for my blood. And then they bounce and they don't fill it out. Versus on a Facebook Messenger, what's cool about it is this can happen, the intake can happen over a long period of time. So for example, one, they don't know how many questions you're going to ask them. So you can just keep asking and they may start and not finish. But the other benefit is you can continue them starting and stopping for a very prolonged period of time. So that it doesn't have to be like they filled out my form right now. They could be filling out my form over a period of time. So I hope that makes sense. Ask me questions. What about, I'm looking at Sia. So Sia says, what about Tidiobot? I'm not aware of this one. Sorry. I would look for reviews on it. Not aware of it though. By the way, I'm looking at all this stuff. It's a beautiful day in Atlanta. Love to hear that. Cool breeze. It's beautiful here in Nashville too. What's up, Steve Conley? Love to hear that Scott's busy. It's good things. What's going on, Heather Klompmaker? I got your email, Heather. It looked really good. Got that newsletter. Looked really good. I'm not familiar with this one, Sia, but I am a yes. Oh, what's going on, Robert Kaneshita? How are you, man? Good to see you in San Francisco. I'm a yes on bots. I think they make a lot of sense, so go for it. So Brant says, does one convert better than the other? You're going to get biased information. And I think it's going to depend upon what it is you're trying to do. I would wager a guess that the messenger bots convert better for longer. And let's define convert. Convert means somebody actually fills out the form. I don't mean necessarily converts in terms of they ultimately buy a house 12 months down the road. I don't mean that. I mean they fill out the form. I'm going to suggest that the messenger bot will do better for a longer form fill. I'm going to suggest that the lead form is going to be great for easy automated forms where it's just easy because it auto-populates their information, name, number, email address. So like if it's just registering for a virtual open house or something like that, just use a lead form because what's your name, email, move on. And then it auto-populates, they press submit, they go to the next thing and it's easy and done. Versus on a messenger, you don't get any information unless they give it to you. So if it's just a couple of questions and you can auto pull that information from whatever they use to log into Facebook, granted they could change it. If they wanted to backspace it and add something different, they could, but they probably won't. So I think that would be my advice. I hope that answers your question, Brad. Glad you're watching, man. Let me keep rolling to the next one. What is the next one? Okay. Next one, expired Facebook and Instagram ads. What topics and how often? This one's also from Brant. So Brant, keep watching. We're doing two of yours. Expired Facebook and Instagram ads. First and foremost, and I've trained on this before, if you want to target ads on Facebook, which by extension includes Instagram, you would do this through the Facebook Ads Manager. You would need to create what's called a custom audience. I've trained on this before. So basically imagine you have a service like Vulcan 7 or Espresso Agent or Landvoice or RedX or whatever, and they give you the contact details and we're going to mind any, like we're not going to spam people. We need to obey all the rules and regulations around marketing. But basically I'm imagining there's a service like that where you basically have a list of here's all the expired listings in my market today, all or in the last 6 months, whatever it might be. And you can literally export that list of contacts and all the information that's associated with that person's record from that service as a CSV file, which is basically an Excel spreadsheet. And I can then take that CSV file and I can upload it into a Facebook custom audience. What that means is then Facebook will take that CSV file and it will hash it and cross-reference it against their records of their user base. And they're going to say, okay, this one here looks like, yep, that information matches up with Bob. And this one here, I don't know who that is. Cross that off the list. This one here appears to be Jenny. Yep, that's Jenny. And so it goes through the list, Facebook does, and it matches up your records with their records. And then basically it shows your ad to those people. That's the idea behind it. I would say be careful that you're not trying to skirt around the rules of special ad category with Facebook on this, just for caution. Okay, so all that's happening, right? I lost my train of thought there. It's coming back to me. I promise. It's coming back to me. So you create your custom audience whereby you're going to target them. And now your question, Brant, is what topics and how often? And so let's talk about the how often. Yes is my answer. Ongoing is my answer. So what I would do is just target them for a period of time. We also know that the average Facebook ad needs about 4 days at a minimum to be effective. So if you're like, because we know that the first 24 hours of a Facebook ad is the learning phase. So for the first 24 hours, Facebook's just trying to figure out what works best. And then you get at least 3 days of the ad. So I would say like at a minimum, run the ads for at least 4 days. Maybe they're overlapping, but I want to see you everywhere, man. I just want people to see and honestly with my clients, we talk about YouTube ads and Google Display Network ads and Google search ads. And we just talk about a variety of different channels whereby like, it's like this person gets it. This person is just in my face offering to be of service and they know what they're doing in terms of digital marketing. So it's not just Facebook and Instagram per se, but that's what we're talking about right now. As far as content, and again, I'll post my notes, I came up with basically a 2-prong approach. First one is called branding and social proof. So I'm assuming, Brant, that you're doing more to reach these expired listings and folks than just ads on Facebook and Instagram. I'm assuming that multi-channel is your game plan. And so because of that, I think there's a benefit to just being in front of them. Oh, it's that Brant guy. I saw he called me the other day. Or, I just got a letter in the mail from him. I want there to be that multi-channel piece to it. So like really just your face, your name, your branding, maybe some reviews from past clients, testimonials, social proof. Maybe it's like a map with all the homes you've sold or some kind of a stat about your effectiveness as a listing agent with expired listings. So the first column or the first prong is branding and social proof. The second prong I wrote down is case studies and statistics. So your track record. Tout it, basically, and I kind of combined these two things just now. My bad. As far as your track record, like if you can say things like, hey, we've sold 150 homes that were on the market, expired with an agent, we took the listing over and sold it. If you can say like we've done that 150 times in the past 3 years, then have an ad that talks about that. Provide that level of certainty in your expertise. And then also case studies. Hey, we were able to take over this $1 million listing. And we were able to, in a period of 60 days, get it sold without reducing the price. If you have case study data, I would get videos or I would get carousels or collections or whatever, whether it's photos or videos, I would get those together and run those ads. So my answer to the question is, how often? Ongoing. A better question is how long? How long? And I think that's going to be it depends kind of a thing. It depends. And obviously I don't want you to be in violation of soliciting anybody who's active listing. So I'm going to not give an answer on a recording right now. As far as topics go, I got 2 prongs. It's brand and social proof, kind of mixed. And then it's statistics and case studies, sort of just kind of coming at them in those directions. I got some comments coming in. Let's see. So Stephanie and James Crawford, hello, fellow Nashvillians, said, I didn't realize you could still direct ads to custom audiences. I thought special ad categories stopped you from doing it. We got to take this. Let me just see I want to see what Brand said real quick. What would you do if you don't have an expired conversion track record? I'll take this. And I'm gonna take this one first, and then I'll come back to Stephanie and James Crawford question. What would I do if I don't have an expired track record? I would talk about what I'm prepared to do for them. I would talk about my marketing plan. I would talk about general market statistics. I would talk about things that I can talk about. I would talk about whatever I'm going to talk about if I got the appointment. I mean, if they said, hey, let's talk, what are you going to talk about? And I would talk about that stuff. I know that's kind of an anecdotal answer, but I hope it helps. Let me go back to Stephanie and James Crawford. So you're right and you're wrong on this one. So you're right that with the special ad categories, which is the fair housing lawsuit that happened on Facebook last year, hey, sidebar everybody, on October 19th, we're expecting Google to roll out their fair housing changes for their platforms, which includes YouTube, Google Display Network, and Google Search. We know it's going to include like no more zip codes and stuff like that. What I don't know is what's going to happen to intent audiences, like purchasing a home soon, that kind of stuff. So we're waiting to see. So be ready. That's October 19th. Anyways, back to Stephanie and James' question right here. Yes and no. So when the whole special ad category came out, which was the fair housing lawsuit changes that were imposed on Facebook last year, when it came out, this wasn't one of the things they were initially going to do. But then they sort of, in hindsight, they went ahead and said, no longer can you upload a custom audience in your personal ads manager. So if you go to facebook.com/ads manager, when you started your Facebook page, and let me get a little bit of water. when you started your Facebook page, Facebook automatically assigned you an ads account. It was the account you're going to run ads from associated with your business page. You didn't know it. You probably only ever boosted posts. But then lo and behold, one day you found yourself in this thing called an ads manager, facebook.com/ads manager, and you were running ads for your page and your page alone through your ads account. It was a personal ads account. In the last 10 years, I think it was like 2014, Facebook launched what's called the Business Manager, business.facebook.com, business.facebook.com. And the Business Manager, you can still create custom audiences. So what I train on with my clients, and I've done training, if you're a coaching member with Tom Ferry, if you go into Illume, I believe I did recordings on April 29th and April 30th inside of our Pivot program, inside of our software. I did a 3-hour training on how to set up a business manager. It is technical. You can YouTube it. There are people who train on it. It's technical. It's way overkill for most agents because it was made for like companies that had multiple employees who are all running ads for the same company. However, it's how I do it with my clients. You can still do custom audiences there. So that's how we do it. Hope that helps. All right, let's get back to some questions. All right, next one up. Best Google ads for home buyers and sellers. And so for Google ads, let's just be clear, Google owns YouTube. Google's got really 4 main kind of products in terms of ads. They've got Google search ads. They've got the Google Display Network, which are all the little banner ads that I see as I'm sort of surfing around the internet. These are just banner ads that I see, like they're wide and skinny, they're tall and skinny, they're squares and so forth. They've got their shopping ads, which is for e-commerce folks, and they've got YouTube ads. I'm talking about, based on this question, Google search, which is their main product. And I'm going to suggest that you need ads basically in 2 camps. You need ads that are centered around home search, and you need ads that are centered around best agent in X market. You said buyers and sellers. So people have been trying to figure out for years, hey, what's the best call to action, the best offer for seller leads? And they've got home valuations and all this stuff, but the reality is those leads aren't like that amazing most of the time. And I would ask you to consider, what is the earliest point of detection that somebody's thinking about selling a house? And I would argue that it's likely they're going to start searching for the home they want to go buy first, because we know that roughly 2/3 of buyers are sellers. And it stands to reason, to me at least, that, hey, somebody's thinking about selling their house, they're going to search for where they're going to go next. So to me, it's like, I would rather say I'm going to focus all my efforts on generating buyer leads, and I'm going to have amazing follow-up skills to figure out who are the sellers. That's just my 10 cents. So I'm going to suggest 2 camps of ads, basically homes for sale in blank and best agent, top agent in blank. So what you're going to do is go to your keyword planner. You can Google that term. Go to your Google Ads keyword planner, and you can search for keywords around best agent Nashville, top realtor Nashville. And it will tell you, you can just put a bunch of words, like a bunch of search phrases that you think are pretty similar. And what it will do is it will tell you, okay, this search has this many monthly searches, and there's a lot of people who are either are or are not buying ads against it. So it tells you, like, here's your range of cost. A click will cost you between this and that on this search term, this search term, this search term. And you basically gather up all the keywords that you think are related to best agent in blank, and you build your ads that way. So when somebody does like real estate agents Nashville, best agent Nashville, top agents in Nashville, realtors in Nashville, when they do those kinds of searches, you're literally buying up ads. Now you're going to be competing against like HomeLight and UpNest and Dave Ramsey and Zillow and all that kind of stuff. So if you want to cut your cost down on those, you can actually do a geo filter whereby your ads are only running for searches conducted inside of your own geographic territory. Now that means you might miss out on people who are outside of your market, but it can at least allow your dollar to go further in terms of competing against some of the big players. Because the UpNest and all those folks, they're spreading their budget across a huge encompassing area. I hope that makes sense. As far as the home search ads are concerned, I would really recommend, like, who's your website through? Is it Ylopo, Sierra Interactive, Boomtown, KV Core, Commissions Inc., Firepoint, whatever? Who's your website through? Because most of the time, those guys are pretty good at running your typical homes for sale in Nashville, Zillow Nashville, those types of keywords to drive folks who are looking for homes to your website where they can register and you lead generate that way. So I hope that makes sense. Best ads to run is you definitely need your ad mixes, your ad groups of homes for sale in your market with an IDX website. And you definitely need best realtor, top agent, those types of ads in your marketplace. And I would also go a little bit more technical and say, as far as keywords go, the more long tail you can go, the better. In other words, the more nuanced. And really what that boils down to is, and this is especially true of home search ads. So like homes for sale on golf courses in Nashville. I just made that up, but that's a super nuanced long tail query. And so what it would typically mean is it's unlikely there's a whole lot of people competing to buy those keywords, which means I can sort of own that territory if somebody indeed searches it. I hope that is useful. Let me jump over to the comments real quick. Marco, I don't know if you're watching, but if you are, let me know if that makes sense to you, okay? Let me keep jumping along. I got a couple more questions to roll through. Next one up. Personal websites and blogs. Are they worth the effort? How do we use them to convert? So thank you for your question. My answer is, yeah, they're worth it, but the results are always in the repetition. There's nothing you can do and do it once and expect that it's going to do much for your business. Like if you do calls one day, it's not going to do a lot for you. If you do like sending out direct mail one time, it's not going to do a lot for you. So when I think about blogging or content or whatever, you really got to be ready to go for it. I would also tell you, you got to start thinking about multi-channel, cross-channel, everything. So in other words, if you are blogging, your content should not just be on your blog. It should be in your email newsletter. It should be on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, spread across every channel you can to maximize the mileage and the exposure of any given piece of content. Because frankly, it's way too much work to limit it to just one channel. It's entirely too much work. So I would make sure that you're spreading it across all those different places. How do we use them to convert? I want to kind of hone in on that part of the question. Two ways. One, as kind of a beacon in the night. If people are looking for a knowledge broker, looking for an expert, they're going to start coming across your content. So I would start like just positioning yourself for being that knowledge broker in your marketplace. And blogging is a way to do that. Do I think you're going to generate like tons and tons and tons of leads? No. But I do think that when people respond to that, they're going to come to you and they're going to have already made they're going to have converted themselves by the time they come to you. So I certainly see the benefit. But the other way I see this being useful to you is also through lead nurturing. So like, let's say that you are running ads on Google for home search. And you're like, these leads may be 12, 14, 16, 18, 24 months out in terms of actually buying or selling a property. And so how will you get them to realize they've got to work through you? Because when you think about like leads, ultimately they're just trying to buy or sell houses. Whether or not they buy you as a product is up for debate. And so your lead nurturing needs to be really coming from the standpoint of how do I get these people to want to work through me to buy or sell real estate? Enter the benefits of a blog, for instance, because in my nurturing, I can text them and say, just for instance, hey, reaching out, just publish this article about X, Y, or Z, thought you might find it useful. Make it an email, right? And all of a sudden you're drip, drip, drip. You're using your content to drip on your leads. You're nurturing them. You're warming them up. And they're going to start wanting to work with you because they're like, this person knows what they're doing. This person really cares about my making a good decision in buying or selling a home. So I see the benefits there. Personal websites and blogs, are they worth it? I say yes. The other thing I would say is this. I was with Tom Ferry a couple months ago, and we were at a retreat prepping for our summit that we did a few weeks ago. During the retreat, Tom sent out a text message to a bunch of different CEOs and top-level executives and who's who in the real estate space. And he asked them the question, what are the characteristics of the agent of the future 5 years from now? And he got back like 15, 20 text messages while we were together. And there was two answers that I kept hearing coming through. One, because he was reading me all the answers, and I was listening to them. And I heard two things. One, I heard team, 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 team. This idea of you doing it alone is faulty at best. You're going to need support layers to delegate some of the tasks. You're going to need a team around you. Not just like buyer's agent and I funnel out leads, but like a team, whatever that means to you. That was a key characteristic of all their responses. The other thing I heard is the agent of the future will have a strong personal brand. And I was like, interesting. So what that tells me is that you have to become the trusted advisor. Whether it's Instagram, social media, a blog, whatever it is, you've got to become the trusted advisor. You've got to be the knowledge broker. You've got to be sharing that point of view that differentiates you from every other agent. And you have to escape that, as Tom says, escape the sea of sameness. And so when I think about the benefits of a personal website or a blog, I see it right there. This idea of you saying, here's who I am, what I'm all about, and how I deliver value in the transaction to buyers and sellers. And really, it's information, right? We're brokers. So it's information based. So I do see the benefits. I hope I've convinced you. Let me jump back over to the chat. All right, good, Marco. I'm glad. Thanks, man. I'm reading your comment, Marco. Glad it makes sense. Good deal. Sierra, I love those guys. They do great work. GGMS, they do great work. Okay, last question, then I'm going to dig through the comments and see what else we got in there. What's the best channel to advertise, quotes, lifestyle property videos? Is it Facebook, Instagram, and or YouTube? Sia, I love the question. My answer here is all the above, right? And I think you're going to get two different groups. So when I think about a lifestyle sort of property video, it just kind of shows, I mean, I think we know what this is, but it basically just shows like probably actors and actresses, or maybe it's you, sort of in the property, doing life, and helping the person, the viewer, see it and imagine themselves, like, what if I was living there, right? It's a lifestyle. It shows the neighborhood and amenities, and basically the whole concept of what you're buying into with a home. I love those videos. I would post them everywhere for a couple of reasons. One, they take way too much effort to not post them everywhere. Number two is because Facebook and Instagram are going to get you a different thing, right? Like if I post it on YouTube, chances are, YouTube's going to drive traffic to it through, maybe I have subscribers and they might see it on their home feed because they're subscribed. But chances are the way people will find that video on YouTube is through searching it out. They're searching for certain types of properties. So how you tag it, your titling is going to really matter because YouTube's going to make it available for people who are seeking out watching that kind of content, versus Facebook and Instagram is really your personal network. And they're going to be interested in watching it just because it came from you. And it's going to make you look amazing as a listing agent because of how much effort you put into it. So as far as what's the best channel to advertise, all the channels bring a different element in terms of what they do best, but they should all be utilized. Now, optimize for each one. Like I said with YouTube, titles, tags, make sure it's optimized for YouTube. Same with Facebook and Instagram, but don't neglect one for the other. There's a reason why I'm live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. I don't care where you watch, as long as you watch. I just want to connect. All right, let me go back to the comments and see what else we got, and we'll be done for the day. So if you have a question or a topic, drop it in. We got a few more minutes left. Let me scroll through. So Howard, I know Howard's gone because he's in a different part of the world, so he went to bed. He said Facebook has changed their ads manager. Any insights or comments? I asked him for more details. And he said having a BTH migrating to new formats. I wish I knew what that meant. I really wish I knew what that meant, Howard. I can't comment on changes they've made to it per se, because in my book, they haven't really changed much in the last several months. They've just kind of streamlined its look and feel. But I would direct anybody watching to, if you're a member of Tom Ferry Coaching, inside of a Loom, I already mentioned it. I did a very long training on setting up a business manager. I would watch it because I would say get yourself in a full-blown business manager for Facebook, just because that's the future of running ads on Facebook, in my opinion. Eileen asks, how do you make a listing video engaging and fun? Oh, I gotta get so many things. One, music. Two, get some great quality footage. Three, narrate. So tell the story of the house. You don't have to be on video the whole time, but talk over it and tell the story of the house. Do some slow-mo, show some B-roll. I love the idea of lifestyle videos where people are in it. We have a term in our ecosystem called epic listing videos, which means basically you're in the video. I personally love it when agents are in the video. I'm thinking of Tyler Whitman, Zachary Faust, Taya DeCarlo, just rock star coaching members of ours who are making unbelievable listing videos. They feature themselves in it, and it's beautiful marketing. I would tell you, Eileen, if you haven't been a part of, you ought to come to Digital Domination for Accelerate. I want to give you some names just to answer you. I want you to go to Instagram and see what Taya DeCarlo posts. I want you to go see what Zachary Faust posts. I want you to go see what Chris Kwan posts. I want you to go see what, I'm just thinking at the top of my head right now. If I'm leaving you out, sorry, Phil Gertis posts. I want you to see what Sandra Pike posts, Glenda Baker posts. There's so much opportunity for these things to be exciting. How do you make a listing video engaging and fun? You tell the story, you involve people, and basically you make it a little movie. That's my 10 cents. I hope that helps. Let's keep scrolling. I think I might have gotten all the questions. Oh, there's new comments at the bottom. Let's see what we got. All right, so Megan said there's 3 here at the bottom. Let's do those and then we'll be done. Megan asks, what's your favorite real estate lead gen ad? Facebook and Instagram. My favorite? Oh, I've got a... Right now, my favorite one is a carousel ad. Well, I've got 2. So on Instagram, I like the story swipe up ads. And I did a Tom Ferry show on this. If you want to go to YouTube, you can watch. I trained on it. Go to YouTube, Tom Ferry's channel. It's on I actually have a playlist on my channel too. You can watch the show I did for Tom, where I talked about the Instagram story swipe up ads. You don't need 10,000 followers if you run it as an ad, but it's the, you're at your listing, you're like, hey, come here. And there's like a video. We just listed 123 Banana Street for boom, boom, boom. You lay the stats, swipe up for all the details, and it redirects them to your landing page for your listing. I love that ad. The other ad I really like is a carousel ad on Facebook. Carousels are the ones where you can kind of scroll. There's card, and you can kind of scroll through, and there's like a learn more or a shop now button on each of them. And I love the ad. We unveiled this one at our Success Summit a few weeks ago during one of the breakout sessions. And the script is basically, we've all put our homes to the test lately. How'd your score? If it's not what you wanted or what you'd like, we have a great solution for you right here. And then you have these homes with pools, homes with home offices, homes with big backyards, neighborhoods with fast internet and all those details, and you just swipe through and go to the website and search for homes. I love that one. And then let me shut my office door because my kids are gonna walk in. Hang on. Everybody's getting home and they're gonna walk right by and it's gonna get noisy. Okay. This one is from Steven. What would be the best way to hire someone or a company to handle your marketing? My answer is simple. You need a plan first. The mistake I see people make all the time when it comes to hiring for marketing is they're hiring for something they don't understand, for something they don't have a plan around, and they're expecting some person whom they hire to have the plan for them. And it's typically a disconnect. So I would say that strategy comes from the top down. You're the top. It's your business. It's your job to understand strategically what I want to achieve and have enough of a working knowledge to be dangerous. I think about a CEO of a company. A CEO may not know every little nuance of the company, but they know enough to manage the whole company. Otherwise, they're unfit to be the manager. So I would say, know what your strategy is. If you want to hire a videographer or if you want to hire an admin or whatever it is, be clear. Here's all the content I want to produce. Here's our marketing plan. And then from there, go back and figure out who I need to get help from. And some of it may just be I need to outsource some help, like Fiverr or something like that, just to get some basic help. Or it may need to be that I need an admin who can help me do these things on a routine basis. Or it may need to be that I hire a full-blown expert who can do some of this stuff for me. But I got to tell you, in real estate, I don't find many people who hire I'm going to hire my own VP of marketing and they're going to do all the hiring and stuff for me. I don't find that typically. Instead, I find that agents who apply themselves to understand the marketing and then they decide I need a video editor for this, I need copywriting or graphic design for these things, I need just a basic admin who can just do the posting following my checklist like this, I need somebody who can run my PPC ads on Google and they start a la carding what they need, they're the ones who typically get the most in the end. That's my experience. Last thing here is from Stephanie and James again. I used AdWorks. I'd like to switch to Google Display Network. Just sidebar, AdWorks uses Google Display Network. AdWorks is a company that runs your Google Display Network ads in a nutshell. But I'm nervous and dreading designing the ads and the various sizes, formats, etc. Any pointers? Yes, don't design them. Don't design them. I got to show you this. Let me share my screen real fast. It's loading up. Screen share screen. If I go into ads, let's pretend I'm going to do a campaign real quick. New campaign. I'm inside of my ads.google.com platform. I got no goal. I'm going to run display. I know I'm going really fast. I'll just do a smart display campaign. That's fine. Continue. Didn't even bother adding a website. I go in here. I just want to show you, like, this is the setup of it. By the way, coaching clients in Tom Ferry, there's a detailed training on these things. I did this one on August 26th inside of our Pulse webinars in Illume. If I go down here, it says create your ads. And I can just go new ad, and you'll choose a responsive display ad like this. And it's going to be like, hey, what's the URL you want to drive them to? And then images and logos. And it says add 2 or more high quality images. And literally it wants images if you have optional, but if you have videos, you can add those too. Give us some headlines, up to 5. Give us a long headline. Give us some descriptions. What's the name of your business? And then some additional formats if you want to use them. And look here, it auto designs them. There is no designing, not anymore. It designs them for you. Cool? So you don't design anything anymore. You use the responsive display ads and let Google do it on your behalf. And then you can trust it's going to work the best for you. One thing I've learned here recently is if you, they tell me, if you have text over the image in your display banner ads, Google actually lowers the ranking factor on those ads. That's something I learned this week, in fact. So use the responsive display ads. Okay. Real quick, Heather, just because it's you, and then I got to bounce. Do you have a Google ad history to get responsive option? Or sorry, do you need to have a Google ad history to get the responsive ad option? I did not see that when I did mine today. Heather, I have no idea why you didn't see that, but no, you should not need to have any kind of a history for responsive display ads. Send me a screenshot or something. We'll look at that. So no, that shouldn't be a factor. All right, y'all are the best. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already tagged a friend, you owe it to me to tag a friend. If you haven't given it a heart, a like, subscribe to the channel, it would make my heart sing if you do that very thing today. I'll see you guys next time. Have a wonderful week. Crushing your marketing. Let me know if you have any questions in the future. And thank you very much for watching. You guys are the best. Adios.